Hi there, welcome to the octopus and pirate ship painting. So we are going to be painting in acrylic paints, and we're going to get started. My canvas is a little bit smaller than what we're usually doing. That way this will be a quicker video, but you will do the same process as what you do on your 11 by 14 inch canvas. So let's get started. Okay, so here is what the finished painting will look like. So we're going to start with a blank canvas so that you can follow along and complete everything. So you should have your paints. If you like, you can put them on a paper plate like I do, or you can just keep them in the cups, in the plastic cups that you were given. But we will be mixing, so it might be helpful to have a palette, either a paper plate or something else to put your paints on. So we have our palette, we have our two brushes, our cup of water, and also some paper towels. So let's get started. Okay, so here is our blank canvas except for the pre-drawn image. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna start with the sky first. So we're gonna wanna go to our blue. We're gonna have this covered in blue first, and first we're going to actually use our smaller brush so that we can paint around the pirate ship. So you don't have to be too careful about the lines in between because we're going to be repainting those. So you can cover those. So let's get started. So first, we're going to outline the pirate ship and the skyline here. So we're going to outline everything. We're also going to outline up here too. So right in our corner here, we're going to outline that shape and come back to it later. Adjust my camera just a little bit. And continuing on here with the pirate ship. So, like I mentioned, as you can see, I painted right over the mast line that's connecting the flags. And that's okay because it's much easier to paint as much as you can and then later on go back and paint in those black lines because it's such a tiny spot. So just take your time. And so now it should look like the flags are kind of floating in the air. But again, that's okay because we will go back later and fix that so that they are not floating in the air. So I'm also going to paint over the one part here at the bottom where there's a lot of lines. Being very careful in between the flag here, the two flags, And now I'm going to also trace right outside there. And now painting in between the flags and C. So now we have a good start and can paint pretty much in the sky space. So the other thing that you might want to do while you have your blue is we're also going to trace around the octopus tentacles and inside. So let's do that while we have our small brush. And if you feel so inclined, you can kind of paint in between as well, since you have your small brush. And this doesn't have to be perfect because we will be going back and putting in another layer of blue. Because you're going to notice that this blue, your first layer, is going to be lighter. That's okay. This paint is a little on the thin side, but we're going to be using it to blend other colors in here. So we're going to be using our white and black. I'm going to put that above just so you can see here. The other thing we're going to do is, as you notice, there are blue parts on the octopus, and we're not going to worry about those right now. We're going to be painting around those. We'll talk about that when we get to that step. For now, we're just taking our time and painting around our tentacles. So it seems like it takes a long time, but this will save you a lot of time. We're sort of prepping for the rest of the painting. Again, just take your time. I'm going to fill this in. Definitely saving us some time. And probably could have gone in with my bigger brush there, but a lot easier to do with a smaller brush since I had it in my hand. Go. Again, just take your time. It should be pretty enjoyable. Hopefully kind of relaxing. And remember, if yours doesn't look exactly like mine, that is quite all right. As a matter of fact, I don't expect it to. I expect you to put your own creative touches on this. So what does that mean? That means that if you also decide that you want it to look a little bit different than what mine looks like, then that is more than okay. Okay, Okay, so let's not forget this little spot in here. Okay. Continuing around here. I find tracing really fun. I don't know if that makes me a little strange. But it's kind of fun. The other thing is, if you decide that you want to do some different colors for your octopus, or even the flags on your pirate ship or whatever, you are very welcome to do that too. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of a line here. Okay. And now, while we have our blue, we're also gonna paint the blue parts on the octopus. Now you can also do this with your bigger brush. Again, the outlining, I think, is a little easier with a smaller brush, at least for me. Maybe you're better using the smaller brush or the bigger brush with this part. But I'm gonna use a smaller brush. You can also switch, like you can start off using the smaller brush and then end up using the bigger brush as you go down. That's something else you can do. All right, here's our other part here. I also just realized we forgot to draw in these parts of blue, so you want to make this a little thicker. Right around there. Okay, continuing tracing this part. I'm gonna now go into this section here. I'm also going to do this little section. Like I said, it feels like it takes long, but it's going to help you in the end, I promise. I'm going to skip to my bigger brush. So again, you may feel more comfortable with your smaller brush. Or like me, you may start off with your smaller brush around the smaller sections and then decide that you want to use your bigger brush. Whatever is easier for you. We're also going to outline this in black. get to it. So we want to leave, as you notice, a little bit of space here to put black around that part so that it doesn't blend in too much with the sea in that part, okay? All right, let's see, did we fill all the blue spaces? I think so. Okay. All right, so we're good on this part, and now we can go back up into our sky. So I'm going to move that up here. Now we're going to use a big brush, and we're now going to paint the sky blue. So see how fast this goes. I just grabbed a little piece of cardboard to put underneath my painting. Helps with my cleanup. And remember, hopefully you want to do the same thing. Make sure your table is covered, or your desk, or wherever you're painting, maybe your kitchen table. You want to make sure that underneath is covered as much as possible. Okay, so sometimes it's hard to tell where the lines are in the pirate ship, and that's okay. If you paint over something accidentally, it's okay. That happens a lot. I actually have done it too. As a matter of fact, I think right over here, I did that. So we can always repaint it. You can take a look at the picture here and repaint it, or honestly, just by following this video, I will show you where those lines go. Let's see, so I've got this. Yeah, I gotta paint over that part here. For now, we're going to paint right up against here. And we've got our blue for our sky. Now that we have that, we now want to paint in here. And so we're going to take our green next. And we're not going to wash our brush. And we're just going to paint this part green. The whole part of it. This is with our big brush. So paint that whole part green. And now, we want to make this a little bit kind of smoky looking. So we're going to go like this. And now we're going to add some blue in the corner while our paint is wet. And we're going to blend it in with that green, like that. Okay. And now we're going to wash our brush. So that's our big brush. We're going to wash our big brush for now and put that on the side. We're also going to wash our small brush. You can see that my water is nice and blue. All right, and now we're going to make a white line, white curvy line. So we're going to start here might go like this. We're going to paint over it again. And then we're going to also do this one to make that other area. And then we're going to go back in with our green, right, with our little brush, and we're going to make green strokes like this. See that? You can go and blend it and go over it again and sweep it up into the corner there. And we have our misty kind of cloud-like area there. Okay. So I'm gonna wash that brush again and put it to the side. So you're gonna wash your smaller brush and put it to the side. Now we're going to grab our bigger brush and we're gonna do the sky here. So we are going to take some of our white, just a little bit on your brush here, and we're gonna make it cloudy. So we're gonna start here and make sort of a straight white line, but because our paint is wet, it's going to blend, and that's what we want. And then we're going to start rotating around in circles with our white. So you only add a little bit, just a tiny bit, to your brush to get that so that it's still blending. If it's not blending, you want to add some blue with it. So now go around and around the pirate ship. Do some over here. You also want to get in the middle of the pirate ship. So this is the misty part that you see. And you can make some parts darker. So I'm going to make this, or I should say brighter. So I'm going to come over here. And see, I'm rotating around and around with my brush. Round and around. Because those are clouds in the night sky. And I'm going to go in between the flags. I want a little bit of white in between there. Now, if you can't get in there with your big brush, you can then take your little brush. Okay, you want to add a little more white over here in the corner. Make it a little brighter. And then maybe a little bit right by the left of it. And let's do a little more smoky mistiness over here. Maybe it's it's a pirate ship. So it's misty, okay? Okay. So we're gonna let that dry. And then we're gonna come down here. And we're actually still going to use our big brush, and we now are going to get into our black because we're going to paint the black that's on the sides. Okay, so I'm not going to wash off my brush. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a straight black line right underneath the pirate ship. All the way across. So this is our water line now. And then I'm going to go straight down with the black on the left side here. So think of it like a box. I'm going to go straight down on both sides. Okay, now that we went straight down, we now want to curve, a little bit of curve here, and look, we're gonna bring our black line in like a curve. We're gonna do it on all four sides. So see, we just did it here, and here, and here, and then here. Then we're going to wash off our brush because we're now going to paint the blue water in our sea. Make sure you also dry off your brush. I'm tapping it. Tapping it on my paper towel. So now I'm going to get into my blue. So now we're going to paint around the octopus. And try to avoid the black that you painted. So you're kind of going to go like this. And it's okay if you get some on the octopus. But what we're going to do is we're then going to bring that blue into the black at the end. But first, we want to paint this blue. And we're trying to avoid the black so that we don't get black in the water. Just take your time. See, I'm still trying to avoid the black. Because if your brush swipes up against the black, it's okay. You can just wash off your brush and then wait for it to dry a little bit, or you can just have your water a little more black, and that's okay. Okay, so now our water is painted blue. Now, see, we have the edges that we need to make go into the black. So I'm going to start here at the top left, and I'm going to move my brush and go like this. So you're going to get some black in your water a little bit. There, see, and now I'm going to push up with my brush, push up, like that. And you're going to do that until the space is filled. See, I have some over here, and that's okay. Might have to add a little more blue. So now it looks kind of grayish black. That's okay. Because we'll go back and we'll add a little more blue later on. Okay. So now that you have that, you can even add a little bit above the water to make it look kind of spooky, like that. I like to sometimes go up into the sky, because see, now I have like a gray. Now you can do some dry swirls in your sky. Now you're gonna wash your brush again. You're going to dry it off on your paper towel. Really good. And now we're going to add white to the water. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of white. So this is where you might want to mix a little on your plate. Or you can do it right on here. So we're going to go in the middle here. So here's the middle of your water. See how it's a little bit lighter. And you're gonna go all in the water. You're gonna make it a little bit lighter, but if it gets too light, you wanna mix some blue in. So then it's gonna look like a light blue. So you're gonna go around. See, so now we added white and now it looks like a light blue. Which looks pretty neat. So you're going to mix that all around, and as you can see, I'm kind of getting into the octopus tentacles. Just want to be careful and not paint over everything. Alright, so go around. So remember, this blue around the tentacles belongs on the tentacles, so you don't want to paint over that. If you do, it's not a big deal. We can fix it. Alright, now I'm coming back over here. See, and I have to add a little bit of blue here again because my black got a little dark into my blue. That's okay. Okay, let's add a little here too. A little bit of dark. And a little, I'm gonna make the water go up a bit. Okay, so remember this blue and this blue is part of the octopus. So you can go over that again too, real quickly, if you like, in between the octopus, because our other step is then going to be, we're going to be outlining in blue, or black, sorry. So see, I mixed my white and my blue a little bit here. And remember, you can pause this video so that you can catch up and you can stop parts. Okay. Fix above here a little bit. I just realized there's a little spot there. Okay, so now you're going to wash your big brush again. And we're now going to paint the silhouettes. So we're going to paint the black on the pirate ship, and then finally the black on our tentacles too. Okay, so we're going to get into our black and we're going to paint our pirate ship first. So I like to paint the bottom of the pirate ship first. So we're going to do the same thing that we did with the blue, and we're going to outline the pirate ship. Just take your time. So we're going to outline that pirate ship. And then you're going to fill it in with your black. My black seems a little bit thin, so I may have to go over it again after it's dry, but we'll see. Let's make this a little more pointy. There we go. It's a pointy pirate ship after all. This side's a little pointy too. It's looking pretty good. Pretty pirate shippy. I can't wait to see what yours looks like. I hope you take a picture and email it to us. Okay, so now let's paint the flags. Now again, if you can't really see the flags, just follow what I'm doing here. Just take your time because it takes a little while because they're small. All right, here's our other one here. Sometimes if it's really small, you may have to use your paintbrush like you're dotting it. That's okay. So remember, I sort of outline it as best I can. This part is small. We make triangles here on the left side. And then we come over here. And there's one right above here. Oh, actually, no, there isn't one over there. I have to repaint that. So now, let's make the lines before we move on to this one, because that's going to help us. So we're going to make a straight line down. And then down here, we make that. See how easy that is just to make the lines? Okay. And then we've got the lines that are holding our flags in place. There we go, we have another one. See, this is much easier than trying to paint around all this stuff. It drives you crazy. All right, here's our last flag here. Got a little thick on me. That may happen to you. That's okay. And all of a sudden we have a pirate ship. Look at that. Okay, now we're going to come down here and we're going to trace our octopus. So this one right here I know is the end of the tentacles, so I can kind of fill that in a little bit. So you can see I'm kind of tracing inside of it because we're going to fill in those spots with black. And then our last part is going to be our stars, and then we're finished. Okay, so this one, we have some blue on the inside. All right, so we're outlining again, just as if we're using a marker. See, it's easier if you outline inside, right up next to the blue. You can also use your big brush for this too. I find it a little easier to use my big brush in some of the spots. Like the tiny spots here, I use my little brush. Okay, so I'm gonna wash that out for now, and I'm gonna use my bigger brush for the black. So again, we're still tracing. Again, you might be a little easier with your smaller brush, and that's okay. I can use my bigger brush and be sort of okay, I think. Let's see. Ooh, that was close. That was close. Okay. So remember, we're outlining, and then we're going to fill it in with the black. We want a nice outline first. Let's not forget up here. Let's see. This one. Up here, I think I'm going to use my smaller brush. And that's because we also come back over here and outline. So this part is black. And again, just take your time. And if you have to stop the video, because it gets a little confusing, please do. When you have fun with this, I think this is a really fun painting. Okay, so now I'm outlining along the edge. Right, because inside there is blue. I'll make this a little pointier. There we go. Okay. All right, outlining along the edge again. This one's easier with a smaller brush, I think. And then we're going to outline this one. It's very tricky the way these are, right? Hopefully in a fun way. All right. Outline over here. See, and this is all black. So once you outline it, you can can then get to painting with your big brush, and it goes pretty fast. And then one more outline up here. And this part is really thin, so I think I'm gonna paint that with my little brush. So that's why I go back and forth between using my little brush and my big brush. Over here is really thin too. So in order to keep it looking like that, a thin curvy line, I'm gonna use my little brush on this part. So you can decide where you're gonna do that. Okay. Fix that a little more. Oh, I made that a little thick. Gotta fix it. There we go. Okay. I'm gonna wash out that little brush. Wash it really good, because the next time we use it, we're gonna use it for the stars, for the white. So dry it off. All right, last part before the stars. We're now painting our octopus tentacles. See how much easier it is when you already paint before, and then you just go around some of these blue parts. So see, a little bit of blue around here. Go like that. Again, around this part, you may decide you want to use your small brush, I should say. So if you need your small brush, it's okay that we washed it off. You can wash it off again after you do the black paint. All right, let's get this. It's looking pretty cool. Go down here. Right against here. So later on when it dries, I may have to go back and make some of these parts around a little bit more black, and that's okay. That's quite okay. I just realized there's a spot. This should be blue right there. Almost painted over it. So see, even I get confused with my own painting. Let's see. Actually, that was fine. I just have to paint a small black line. So I'll go back and do that. Just want to fix some of my lines here. Okay. All right. You want to wash off your brush, and we're now going to get, I just have to fix this one line here that I did. There we go. I'm going to wash off my little brush, and now it's time for the stars. All right, so you want to make sure your brush is very dry. So I just washed it off again. Put this green paint away. All right, so now we're going to go into our white, and we're going to do just a tiny bit on our brush, and we're going to start dotting away. So see, really tiny. Make as many stars as you want. So you're going to go all over the sky. And some stars are bigger. So I've got these really little tiny ones because the paint is running off my brush. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to add some more. And again, you can have as many as you want. Maybe your sky is really filled with stars, and then maybe it's just a little bit. You get to decide. That's the fun part. And then I like to put in a shooting star here on the left. So you're going to make a dot like that. And then you're going to make a tail like that. So I just took my brush and I went, and then I like to make two really tiny stars that look like crosses. So 1, 2, and then I put one up here, right in the background. Sometimes I do 2 of those. And I'm going to add a few more stars up here. And then guess what? You're done. Thank you so much for painting with me. I hope you enjoyed the octopus and pirate ship painting, and I can't wait to see what yours looks like. So you can reply to the email at Abington Library, take a picture, and send it in to us. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.